Conflict. It's inevitable in human relationships. Yet it doesn't have to lead to resentment, grudges, and broken connections. The ancient wisdom of Stoicism offers a profound approach for resolving interpersonal problems effectively and cultivating inner peace. In today's video, I'll be sharing 13 powerful Stoic lessons for transforming the way you handle disagreements and misunderstandings with others. From practicing empathy to letting go of attachments to embracing forgiveness, these practical principles will help you become a master of conflict resolution. Before we start, I would like to say thank you for watching and make sure you stay till the very end to absorb this ancient wisdom. Number 1. Practice empathy. Empathy is an essential Stoic virtue that can greatly assist in resolving conflicts with others. It involves making an active, concerted effort to deeply understand another person's perspective. Start by considering carefully where the other person is coming from. What life experiences and beliefs shape how they see the world? Were they raised in a different culture with divergent values? Have they dealt with hardships you cannot relate to? Make space for the fact that their worldview may be fundamentally different from yours. Rather than immediately judging their words or actions, take time to reflect on what is behind them. Imagine yourself in their position. If you grew up with their influences and struggles, how might you view things differently? By momentarily stepping outside your own paradigm, you can glean insight into what motivates their behavior. This understanding can breed compassion. When we act with empathy, we are acknowledging the inner humanity within each person. Stoics saw value and potential in all human beings, even those with differing backgrounds and viewpoints. When you choose to view someone as a complex individual dealing with their own unique challenges instead of an opponent, it becomes easier to find common ground. Progress emerges when we recognize we are all fellow travelers on life's journey. With empathy's wisdom, you can respond thoughtfully rather than reacting defensively to their words and actions. You move from confrontation to cooperation, from blame to understanding. Stoics saw the practice of empathy as essential for living virtuously and in harmony with others. It remains a timeless principle for dissolving conflicts where everyone can emerge wiser. Number 2. Control your reactions. A fundamental Stoic teaching is the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. As Epictetus stated, we have complete control over our judgments, values, and reactions, even if external circumstances and other people are beyond our control. This principle is key when conflicts arise. While you cannot dictate someone else's behavior, you have agency over your own response. Take time to reflect carefully instead of reacting instinctively in the heat of the moment. Breathe, pause, and give yourself space. By focusing first on self-control, you can avoid escalating the situation further with a knee-jerk outburst. Respond with reason rather than raw emotion. Apply logic to understand the situation before determining how to move forward. If needed, take a break and revisit the issue later when heads are cooler. This discipline allows you to shape your reactions mindfully, rather than being controlled by them. Maintain composure in the face of provocation. React with calmness, clarity, and care instead of lashing out in anger. As Marcus Aurelius advised, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Exercise this power wisely when conflicts emerge. Self-control is key for resolving disagreements effectively. By mastering your reactions, you create space for thoughtful problem-solving where both parties feel respected, leading to mutually acceptable outcomes. The Stoic emphasis on self-mastery remains highly relevant today for transcending our knee-jerk reactions and cultivating level-headedness. With composure and rationality, You gain influence over outcomes rather than allowing circumstances to control you. Number 3. Focus on what you can control. The ancient Stoics were masters of focusing their energy solely on what was within their sphere of control. As Epictetus taught, some things are within our control while others are not. We cannot control external events, other people's actions, or the hand we are dealt in life. But we have agency over our judgments, values, and responses. Apply this Stoic mindset to interpersonal conflicts. When disagreements arise, take stock of what is within your ability to control versus what is not. You cannot dictate others' feelings, words, or behaviors, but you have power over your own attitudes, reactions, and effort. Invest your energy in managing your personal response rather than attempting to control the uncontrollable. Refrain from entitled thinking that the world or other people should conform to your preferences. Instead, direct your power inward. You can control staying engaged in a calm, constructive manner. You have agency over how much good faith effort you put into understanding the other's perspective, and you can choose to focus only on the aspects within your sphere of influence. By distinguishing the controllable from the uncontrollable, you maximize your power and minimize unnecessary frustration. Disagreements often persist because we overinvest in trying to control what we simply cannot. The Stoic approach offers freedom to channel energy toward what you can control and detach from what you cannot. Marcus Aurelius stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This applies profoundly to conflicts. We cannot determine others' beliefs or behaviors, but we have immense power over our inner world. Exercise this power wisely when differences arise. Number 4. Seek common ground. Even when disagreements or conflicts arise, there are always common interests to be found between people. The Stoic approach emphasizes identifying shared goals, needs, or values as starting points for resolution. Pause to consider what fundamental human needs you have in common beneath the surface issues. Do you both share needs for respect, security, purpose? Highlight these basic similarities of the human condition to help build mutual understanding. Reflect also on goals or concerns you have in common regarding the specific issue at hand. Perhaps you both want greater safety in the neighborhood, even if you disagree on methods. Recognizing these points, unity can help frame the conflict in less oppositional terms. Furthermore, identify overlapping values between you and the other party. You may share ideals of justice, community, self-determination. Emphasizing these shared principles makes cooperation more attainable. Even groups with vast differences typically have some foundational values in common. Discovering even small areas of agreement provides a starting point. From there, you can have meaningful dialogue about resolving differences in a way that honors mutual interests. As Marcus Aurelius advised, constantly consider both the whole and the particular. Zoom out to consider the bigger picture and larger human context, in addition to the singular conflict. This wider lens helps reveal common ground. Appealing to common interests and humanity allows progress. It transforms the discussion from me versus you to us. With shared hopes and values as a baseline, we can move forward in a spirit of goodwill rather than discord. Number 5. Use reason and logic. The Stoics placed great emphasis on the human capacity for reason. Our ability to think rationally, they argued, is what makes conflict resolution possible. Apply reason whenever conflicts emerge. Approach the disagreement with a clear, calm mind. Make space for careful, logical analysis, rather than just reacting emotionally. Use reason to cut through any misconceptions, false assumptions, and poor communication underlying the issue. Construct reasoned, rational arguments to explain your perspective. Outline your viewpoint logically without getting heated or defensive. Likewise, listen to the reasoning behind the other person's position. Aim to understand their rationale before crafting your response. Avoid letting emotions like anger, pride, or fear cloud your judgment and disrupt the conversation. While emotions are natural, they often lead us astray when disputes occur. Be vigilant of knee-jerk reactions. Instead, let logic guide you. Reason enables us to see situations more objectively. It illuminates solutions emotion alone could not. Even deep-seated conflicts become tractable if both parties commit to reasoned discourse. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, to live a good life requires sense and logic. Cultivate these Stoic tools. Of course, we are all prone to mistakes in reasoning, hence the Stoics stressed remaining humble and open to critiques of your logic. Also seek to correct, in a thoughtful way, flawed reasoning from others that may be exacerbating the conflict. With mutual dedication to rationality, disputed can be resolved equitably. But this requires patience, avoiding premature judgments. While reason alone cannot dissolve all conflicts, applying it diligently improves our chances immensely. It remains fundamental to the Stoic approach. Number 6. Accept imperfection. The Stoics recognize that perfection does not exist in humans. We are inherently flawed beings who will make mistakes, act selfishly, and engage in disputes. This reality can lead to much frustration and anger when conflicts inevitably arise. To counter such unhelpful reactions, the Stoics advise consciously accepting our shared imperfect nature. Understand that all people have limitations, weaknesses, and faulty judgments at times. You yourself are far from perfect. Holding unrealistic expectations that others should always act fairly, selflessly, and reasonably is a recipe for constant disappointment. By embracing our universal imperfections, you can reframe conflicts in a wiser light. Rather than seeing disputes as catastrophic, view them as normal stumbles along the winding path of being human. With self-compassion, forgive yourself more easily when you contribute to problems. Extend that same grace to others. This radical acceptance reduces anger over perceived slights. Developing equanimity and patience for people's shortcomings minimizes overreactions that can worsen conflicts. You become less defensive and reactionary. The Stoics would remind us, anger arises from unmet expectations. Examining your expectations of others and yourself is key. Are they realistic or unfairly high? Adjusting expectations fosters goodwill and cooperation. With compassion and level-headedness, imperfections become opportunities to practice virtue and grow, rather than reasons to condemn others as irredeemable. Progress emerges when we lower the bar from moral purity to simply doing our imperfect best. Number 7. Communicate clearly and calmly. Clear, composed communication is essential for resolving disagreements effectively. The Stoics emphasized direct but thoughtful expression when conflicts arise. First, ensure you are being clear in articulating your perspective or concerns. Outline your viewpoint logically without muddying the waters with vague language. Be specific about your key interests and needs related to the issue. Define any terms that may be interpreted differently. Clarify exactly what matters most to you. Equally important is speaking calmly, without aggressive or passive-aggressive tones. Being calm demonstrates emotional control, earning you greater credibility. It also prevents escalating the other person's defenses or emotions. Avoid using accusatory, inflammatory language. Don't distort the other's position just to win the argument. Similarly, refrain from subtle jabs or sarcasm that could needlessly provoke. If anger arises, pause to collect yourself before continuing the dialogue. Suppressing emotions altogether can backfire. but constructively channeling them is key. Allow yourself authentic self-expression without attacking. Communicate clearly and directly while also listening carefully in return. Seek first to understand the other perspective before articulating your own needs. Two-way openness and positivity is ideal. As Epictetus stated, "We have two ears and one mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Follow his wisdom, even when disagreements feel heated. Calm, thoughtful communication aligned with Stoic principles can steer conflicts toward resolution. Number 8. Listen actively. Attentive listening is a cornerstone of the Stoic approach to conflict resolution. Listening demonstrates respect for the speaker and helps you gain deeper insight into their perspective. Give the other person your complete, undivided attention when they speak. Maintain eye contact and focus entirely on what they are conveying without distraction or interruption. Be fully present. Listen not just to their words, but the underlying message. What core interests, values, or goals underpin their stance? What deeper concerns may be fueling their frustrations? Listen for what is unspoken. Reflect on what you hear without immediately forming counter-arguments. Let go of the need to be right and simply make an effort to understand how they view the situation. Ask thoughtful follow-up questions to further comprehend their vantage point. Paraphrase what you heard in your own words. This shows you have truly listened and retained their perspective. It also allows the speaker to clarify anything you may have misunderstood. Active listening demonstrates respect. It forges connection crucial for resolving disagreements. Rather than acting defensively, open yourself to understanding why this issue matters so much to the other party. Seek common ground once their viewpoint is clearer. As Epictetus stated, "We have two ears and one mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Heed his wisdom. Resist the urge to interject your perspective. Listen fully, and solution paths will reveal themselves. You cannot reach mutual understanding without first making the effort to hear and comprehend one another. Number 9. Detach from outcomes. The Stoics understood that when conflicts arise, we often become overly attached to specific outcomes we desire. However, clinging to a particular result that may be unrealistic will only breed frustration. Instead, they advise detaching from outcomes that lie beyond your control. Invest full effort into resolving disagreements in a thoughtful, constructive manner. Strive to communicate clearly, find common ground, and cooperate towards solutions. But also make peace with the fact you cannot dictate final outcomes. Bring discipline to your expectations. Understand that the end result may not match your perfect scenario. The other person is unlikely to acquiesce fully to your demands. Manage your own attachments rather than trying to control external events. Focus your power on the process itself, communicating effectively, demonstrating goodwill. Avoid predetermining how the conflict should be resolved. Allow resolution to emerge organically through engaged dialogue, free of entitlement on your part. Judge success mindfully. If you made an honest effort to understand the other and negotiate mutually acceptable outcomes, take heart in that moral victory. The quality of your effort matters more than the particular result. Detachment provides freedom to engage fully without being consumed by the outcome. Paradoxically, letting go of fixation on a specific resolution can make progress more likely. When we are attached, frustration over perfect solutions not materializing further divides. Stoic non-attachment points the way to conflict resolution. Number 10. Avoid assumptions. When disputes arise, it is easy to make faulty assumptions about the other person's motives, values, or thought process. Stoics caution strongly against this tendency. Instead, they advise asking questions to clarify ambiguities. Refrain from jumping to conclusions about why someone says or does something without obtaining more information. Even if you believe your assumptions are reasonable, they likely capture only part of the picture. There may be valid contextual factors you are unaware of. Rather than presuming you already understand their reasoning, ask open-ended questions to better understand their perspective. Make inquiries in a spirit of openness and giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maintain curiosity. For example, if they propose an idea you disagree with, inquire about the intention behind it rather than declaring it thoughtless. If their actions upset you, ask about situational factors that may have influenced their behavior before accusing ill intent. By posing clarifying questions, you also give them a chance to correct any false assumptions you hold and share their viewpoint more fully. The truth generally lies somewhere between parties, obscured by limited perspectives. Shed light through inquiry. As Epictetus stated, we must not believe the many who say that free and learning things only makes people more cunning and evil. Avoid such cynical assumptions. Wisdom emerges when we seek truth through mutual understanding. Question rather than assume. Progress follows. Number 11. Reflect on your own role. The Stoics stressed the importance of self-reflection when conflicts emerge. Rather than immediately blaming others, pause to honestly examine your own potential contribution to the disagreement. This leads to self-awareness and personal growth. Ask yourself thoughtful questions to facilitate reflection. Could you have communicated in a clearer, calmer manner? Did you make uncharitable assumptions that exacerbated tensions? Are your expectations of the other person realistic? How did your biases shape your reactions? Carefully replaying exchanges in your mind can reveal missed opportunities for greater understanding. Perhaps you focused only on articulating your perspective rather than listening to their concerns. Your good intentions may have been obscured by reactive emotions. Consider also whether there are valid critiques of your position that you initially dismissed defensively. We all have blind spots that objective assessment can illuminate. There are always at least two sides to every conflict. Undertake this self-inquiry with radical honesty, yet also self-compassion. The goal is deepening self-knowledge, not self-criticism. The courage to see your own role clearly is admirable. With wisdom gained from reflection, you can handle similar conflicts more skillfully in the future, with greater maturity. You also build understanding of the other's experience. Contemplating your contribution promotes empathy. As Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Apply his wisdom. Regular self-reflection, with humility, fosters growth as a partner in conflict resolution. Number 12. Practice patience. The Stoics understood that cultivating patience is essential for resolving disagreements. Interpersonal conflicts rarely get settled quickly or easily. Progress requires enduring the gradual process mindfully. Approach the situation knowing that reaching mutual understanding with another person takes time and effort. One conversation is unlikely to produce perfect accord. Be prepared for an iterative process stretching over multiple interactions. During exchanges, be attentive to signs of impatience in yourself. Notice when your mind wanders or your body language conveys restlessness. Reignite your commitment to active listening. Progress occurs slowly. When negotiations hit impasses, resist the urge to force swift conclusions. Take a long view of the relationship beyond just the current dispute. If good faith efforts reach dead ends, wait and revisit the issue when cooler heads may prevail. Extend patience also to the people involved. Understand they too carry imperfections, biases and reactions that inhibit instant conflict resolution. Meet difficult behaviors with compassion rather than frustration. Focus on consistently modeling patience, reason and care yourself. Though the path may not be smooth, your example can have a positive influence over time. Steady persistence furthers progress. As Marcus Aurelius stated, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." Continue applying reason and patience. Number 13. Embrace forgiveness. The Stoics advise releasing grudges and practicing forgiveness when conflicts arise. They saw holding on to resentment as an unnecessary burden serving no positive purpose. When disagreements happen, we often feel wronged and grow angry, sustaining the negativity through resentment. However, clinging to grudges only breeds more unhappiness in yourself and disharmony with others. It becomes a cycle of blame and victimhood. The Stoic approach emphasizes taking control of your inner state. Own your decision to either release negative emotions or let them fester into grudges. Forgiveness is often challenging, but ultimately freeing. Consider what true justice means. Passing bitter judgment rarely repairs harm or breeds actual change. But demonstrative forgiveness can transform relationships and open new doors. It returns control to you rather than leaving it hostage to the past. This does not mean accepting real wrongdoing or foregoing accountability. But once dissent is aired, continuous blame prevents healing and holds you back. Rightful indignation must eventually give way to goodwill and community building. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Break free by rising above. Commit to the practice of forgiveness, one small step at a time if needed. It will lighten your spirit immensely." Forgiveness demonstrates faith in human potential. With compassion and forward thinking, Stoic principles provide a path beyond stalemate grudges. Progress follows when we choose open hands and open hearts. And there you have it, 13 practical Stoic teachings for transforming the way you navigate interpersonal conflicts and come to mutual understanding. I hope you found these lessons on empathy, controlling reactions, forgiveness, and more to be valuable. If you gained some useful tips from this video, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps me to keep making content that can hopefully make a positive difference in people's lives. Let me know in the comments which Stoic conflict resolution principle resonated with you the most, or share your own tips if you have any. I'm always looking to learn new perspectives. Until next time, remember that with compassion, reason, and wisdom, we can resolve disagreements while upholding our shared humanity. The Stoics gave us profound guidance for overcoming conflicts of all kinds. I encourage you to reflect on how applying even small bits of their advice can improve your relationships and overall well-being. Thank you all for watching, and may you all find peace and serenity in the Stoic ways.